everybody, I'm Rachel, this is John, like usual, and we are the hosts of The Fourth Show.
The Fourth Show is a weekly YouTube show to help you be more for the people in your life, because we believe that Jesus is for you no matter where you are in your life.
Mm-hmm.
We do
believe that. We don't lie about it.
No.
I don't know. Last week, we talked about how Jesus kind of closed that little loophole of making rules over relationships a thing, because it should be the opposite. Or maybe the rules just shouldn't be there. I don't know. Relationships are more important. And he also challenged us, like he does every week. I think he gets a thrill out of it, of asking ourselves, what does love require of us?
Yeah. And so last week I talked about what does love require of me, and I used my daughters as an example. Mm-hmm. My beautiful daughters. And so going into that next week was actually really good that I had that fresh on my mind, because it was spring break and I was off the whole week with my girls on spring break. So there was plenty of opportunities to ask myself, what does love require of me in this situation? So yeah, it's and it really just kind of turns into kind of like a mantra, something to kind of repeat to myself all the time.
Over and over.
So I encourage you to repeat that to yourself also.
Yeah, ask yourself.
Right now, repeat it.
What does love require of me?
Yep.
Okay.
There you go. So that was last week, like we said. This week in the series You're Not So Far, we're going to hear what John has for us. Mm-hmm. And the series You're Not So Far is a series on what Jesus really had in mind and who and what he was really for.
Yep.
So we're going to throw it over to Harney.
But stay here. Don't leave. Because we have recaps, reminders, and that lovely reward when we come back. Okay, bye.
Bye.
That was gold.
Before I moved back to Ohio, I worked for a church ministry in Virginia as a student ministries director. Now, the problem with student ministries is that it can kind of make you try too hard to be perceived as cool. And trying to keep up with the trends of what is cool is exhausting, and it never really works. At least I found out. Once you're out of it, you're never really back in. Well, one time in particular, this was on full display for everyone about me. As I was wrapping up a Sunday service, I decided to try out a new hand gesture that I had picked up from the window of one of my soccer players' cars. As I said goodbye to about 120 high schoolers, I threw this new lit hand gesture up into the air. But the response was not positive. In fact, everyone was shocked at what was happening. One of the 20-something adults trying to help yelled out in love, "Stop it!" But it was too late. I had completely embarrassed myself in front of a bunch of teenagers and adults, and of course it made its way around what stupid thing John had done. I later found out that I had used a highly offensive, sexually charged hand gesture that had been popularized by a comedian turned actor. I mean, talk about embarrassing, right? And we all have embarrassing moments that we can laugh about later. But most of us, if not all of us, have shameful moments that we would give anything to undo. Moments when we did something we're not proud of. Moments when we acted in ways that undermined our character and integrity. Moments that turned us into hypocrites. And as humans, we have a tendency to let these moments begin to define us, to start to give in to this identity that we write for ourselves as worthless or no good or useless or whatever. While our pasts remind us of things that we've done in our lives, they don't have to define us or our future. And this is Jesus' heart for us. Now, Maybe this isn't what you've experienced in past church interactions, but this is clearly the intention of Jesus. And it's no more clearly seen than in the life of a man named Peter. Now, Peter with many people is remembered for being the disciple that denied knowing Jesus while Jesus was being crucified. And that is true. But there's so much more to the story. You see, Jesus told Peter that he would deny association with him, but Peter vehemently denied that denial. In fact, Peter said, "Jesus, I'll die before I let that happen." And in trying to prove that, just like hours later, Peter actually attacks a guard who comes to arrest Jesus with his little fishing knife and cuts the guard's ear off. Now, Jesus, however, was not looking for Peter to make a big show of his loyalty and ends up healing the guard and lovingly scolding Peter. Well, then the part that everyone knows happens. Later on, Peter denies that he knows Jesus out of fear for his own life in the midst of persecution and crucifixion of Jesus. And listen, this had to be so scary, like such a fearful time for people who were close to Jesus. The way that they stopped social movements in this time of the world, they just killed everybody who was a part of it. Well, later on, Peter realizes that he had done what Jesus had predicted, and he went away sad and angry with himself like many of us would. Well, John, who writes the book of John, he tells us about a time when Peter and a few of the other guys were together, and this is after the crucifixion and resurrection of Jesus. And Peter had decided to go fishing just to get back to a life that made sense to him, he could provide for himself, because he was sure that Jesus would want nothing to do with him after his cowardly betrayal. Well, the other guys, there with Peter, they went along to fish as well, but after an all-night fish fest, they had caught nothing. And early the next morning, a man on the shore yelled out to them, and he was asking how fishing was going. Well, when they told him that they had caught nothing, the man on the shore yelled back out, "Throw the nets on the other side of the boat." Well, they kind of laughed, but they humored him, and they did so, and almost immediately the net filled up. And then the text tells us that the disciple Jesus loved said to Peter, "It's the Lord." This thing made them recognize that it was Jesus, because how else would that happen, right? Well, when Simon Peter heard that it was the Lord, he put on his tunic, for he had been stripped for work. Not naked, he was just down to his undergarments. And he jumped into the water and he headed to shore. I'm sure just amazed that Jesus was here. You see, Peter was there on the day that we call Easter. When they went to the tomb and they found Jesus' body was not there. Peter was there when Jesus came and talked to the disciples. He's already seen him after all this. This is actually the third time that Jesus had been with them after his crucifixion. But Peter was still defining himself by his worst moment, the embarrassing, regretful betrayal in his immediate past that haunted him daily and made him believe that he wasn't worthy of Jesus' love and his friendship. And Jesus is about to prove that all wrong. The story goes on. The others stayed behind, they hauled in the nets, they brought the boat back to shore, and when they arrived, Jesus had made breakfast for everyone. Jesus even served them. And the text goes on and tells us that after breakfast, Jesus pulled Peter aside privately and he asked him, "Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these?" "Well, yes, Lord," Peter replied. "You know I love you." "Well, then feed my lambs," Jesus told him, which is kind of weird, but there's a point. And Jesus was actually going and asking the same question 2 more times. And I encourage you, go and read this for yourself in John chapter 21. Don't just take my word for it. But what Jesus is doing here is he's saying to Peter, listen, Peter, you're still worthy. You're still useful. You're still loved by me. What you did doesn't define you, and it doesn't ruin our relationship. And he encourages Peter in the fact that he's still very important. And not only am I, Jesus would say, for you, Peter, but I want you to be for other people. And for some people, this is a hard transition in life. It's hard to believe that Jesus loves you just as you are. You don't have to clean yourself up. You don't have to fix all the bad things in life. He came and did what he did for you, just like you are. A deep understanding of this is the beginning of the end of shame, guilt, and hopelessness. The problem is that it only starts a process. It's not an instant fix. And many people who are Christians, who are followers of Christ, they continue to walk around really for the rest of their life with shame and regret, holding them back from really being for people in the way that Jesus was for us because of that. But let Jesus' words to Peter resonate with you today. You made a mistake, but it doesn't define you to me. As we come into Easter, start to recognize your regret, your shame for what it truly is. Put it in its place. And if you've asked Jesus to be in your life, start to live like someone who's been redeemed, forgiven from those things. And if you've not begun a relationship with Jesus, first off, thanks for exploring that with us. I pray you'll explore more of that this week. Maybe talk to God for the first time or for the first time in a long time. Message us if you have questions. We love those, and we think questions are very important. And then, I want to encourage you to tune in next week for Easter and the final episode of You're Not Far.
Welcome back. So this week, John talked about how our past reminds us, but it doesn't have to define us. I'm sure a lot of people can identify with that who are watching.
I definitely can.
So let's hear about it.
Oh gosh, he's interested now.
Yeah.
Sorry. So basically, I was 18 when I walked away from the church. And I didn't come back until about 27 when I met Daniel. Well, we started dating. So it's about 10 years worth of bad decisions and lots of things I'm not very proud of. And it took a while for me to learn that that didn't define, one, who I was as a person, and two, my relationship with Jesus. So it's been just being here and the people that I allow to be in my circle and have influence in my life that's really helped me through the process of, not being defined by mistakes
In your past.
and just everything I've been through. And it showed me how having people to go through the process with is a lot easier than trying to go through the process by yourself.
Yeah, that's what we want from circles in our life. So that's something we'll come back to.
Yep.
Put a pin in that.
Put a pin in the circle.
Right now we've got a reward to give away.
We do.
And this is this series' last giveaway. So if you don't already know, the last giveaway of the series, we typically like to do a bigger giveaway.
Yep.
This time we are giving away a $25 gift card to Jersey Mike's subs. Jersey Mike's, a sub above. And Jersey Mike's is my absolute favorite.
I was just about to say, John, do you like Jersey Mike's?
I like Jersey Mike's a lot. And not telling you what to do, but Club Supreme, Mike's Way, and yes to oil and vinegar.
Okay.
It's
I'll take your word for it.
delicious.
I might try a bite, but order my own.
Their bacon.
Something about the bacon that just makes it different than
So
regular
good.
bacon.
And the roast beef is just rare and just great.
Yeah.
I'll be there in 35 minutes.
So, as usual, on Sunday, we will be posting about the giveaway. So, like it to enter yourself or tag some other people that you would want to kind of be for them.
Yep.
And let them win something fancy. I mean, $25 could get you pretty far.
Yeah.
You could go multiple times
Yep.
by yourself.
It could get you a giant Club Supreme with Mike's Way,
Yeah.
oil and vinegar,
One sub is
a bag of chips, and a soda.
Okay.
Or a pop, depending on who you are.
Well, it's soda.
It could be pop to some people.
Well, you're
But
wrong.
Anyways,
So, usually we pick our winner on Wednesday, but this time we're going to choose our winner Tuesday.
yes.
And that is because...
Because on Wednesday, Jersey Mike's, and from what I understand, this is all Jersey Mike's, Jersey Mike's does 100% of their profit goes to local charities. Each store picks their own charity and gives 100% of that day's profit to local charities. And we're really excited about that because we love seeing people in the world being for their communities and for just for other people. And we believe that what's rewarded is repeated.
Yeah.
So even if you don't win this week's reward, we encourage you to go to lunch, go to dinner, go to whatever. First snack, second dinner, whatever. Go to Jersey Mike's on that Wednesday. Go to Jersey Mike's on that Wednesday. Support your local Jersey Mike's
And that's this coming
so
Wednesday.
that they can support local charities.
Yeah. This
That's
is like
really
the
exciting.
11th year or something that they've done this too. So that's kind of cool. I wonder what
Did you
started
just pull
it.
that right off the top?
I did.
Oh,
right off the card.
Oh, smooth. Oh, smooth. 100% of their sales goes to local charities. So
Yep.
that's awesome. Our reminders for this week, our second quarter circles, our signups are live right now. So
But
go
if you
sign up.
were signed up for last quarter, sign up again for this quarter.
Yeah, we need to sign up every quarter
Yep.
just so the leaders of our circles can know what
Keep
to
everything
prepare for.
updated.
And yeah.
Yeah. It's fun.
And
The
we
women
have the same 3 circles,
Yes.
which are,
the women's circle is still at Coffee Hub.
which has ladies in it.
It does. And 6:30 to 8. Coffee Hub in Beaver Creek.
Coffee Hub
I forget
in
there's
Beaver
more
Creek.
than one Coffee Hub, but it's the one in Beaver Creek.
Yeah.
And then the couple circle, this one is actually going to be the whole 10 weeks. And we're just going to focus on love and respect the whole time.
That's the series.
Yep.
Love and Respect
Yep,
series.
a series. And I'm looking forward to it.
And that's the same time and
Yep,
the same location.
time, same place.
Yeah. And our men's circle, we're changing it up just a little bit. Not too much, just a little bit. Like maybe 30 minutes difference. It was at 6 o'clock. It's going to be at 6:30 now. 6:30 Friday nights. Yeah, and we're just going to focus on building relationships amongst us guys. So if you have any guy friends that you would like to invite to that, sign-ups are live now. So
Yep.
we encourage you to do that. Yeah, our quarterly gathering. If you're watching this Saturday morning, you still have time. The quarterly gathering is tonight at
Bear Creek,
Bear Creek at 6:30.
6:30.
Bear Creek, 6:30 tonight. If you're, like I said, if you're watching it Saturday morning. If you're watching it Saturday night, like put your shoes on, like it's 6:30.
Stop the video,
Yeah,
go, and then you can finish when you come back.
Bear Creek, 6:30
Saturday night.
Saturday
If
night.
it's Sunday, well,
If it's Sunday,
Sorry.
oh my gosh, it was so fun.
yeah.
It was.
We're
so
just
much
going to go ahead and say it was a great time.
And if you're watching this in the past, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Because that's.
I'd like to meet you, friend.
But you should probably stay inside
Yeah.
and put a mask on.
Again at Fair Creek, because they have just been embracing us and showing us so much love and being for us. They have invited us to their Good Friday service on Good Friday
Which is a Friday,
on April 2nd.
April 2nd at 7 p.m.
7 p.m.
So come join us. Come join Fair Creek Friday, April 2nd, 7 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Good Friday.
Dude, is that a song?
I don't know.
Me either.
You're good Friday. I don't know.
Oh, God. Edit
I
that.
just made that up.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know.
All this information for our circles, for our events, for just pretty much anything Bridge Church can be found at bridgedayton.com or on our Church Center app.
Yep, and that's where you find the giving as well, because the giving is just what helps the for show be the for show, and it just helps Bridge Church be for Dayton, and it helps we just love all of you.
Yeah.
It helps us love you.
Yeah. Keeps it
Not
all
because
going.
you give us money, but because we just love you, and it keeps Bridge Church going to be able to love you in the way we want to love you.
Yes.
Good save, Rachel. Almost messed that one up again.
Yeah. So take time to like and subscribe to this video. Click for update notifications. Leave a comment.
Yep.
Share it with someone that you're for in your life.
Yep.
And also check out the podcast.
Yep.
And those are all archived, so you can check out past series and all that stuff. And if you missed, since this is the last week of this series, if you missed the beginning of this series, you can check out all the previous weeks.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All this can be found in the show notes too.
Yeah.
Forgot about that part. It's all in the show notes.
That's right.
If you missed it, just go to the show notes.
Exactly. So now we just encourage you to go be for someone in your life.
Yep. I have lots of fun doing it too.
You can go to Jersey Mike's on
Go to
Wednesdays.
Jersey Mike's. Jersey Mike's. Face is red now. You're
I'll
gonna
give you a
tell.
little win.
So,
My bad, you guys.
I think.
Don't put it in the bloopers either.
No,
And then John's just like, oh.
oh boy, ours sings to us.